And I couldn't help but notice during your press conference, you look up, and it's such a unique situation because you look up and your name is on a banner behind you here at the Wells Fargo Center. Yeah. You understand the Flyer way, and we've heard especially this current roster talk a lot about how they want to get back to that Flyer way, and I think fans can agree they're getting there. They're back, this organization playing the way the Flyers want them to play. How much is that going to help you that you get that, you understand that?
I think it's huge. Being here as a young kid, and the Flyers helped me shape myself as a person, the family way, especially back then, and just knowing Jonesy and Dan Hilferty and Brian Roberts, what they want to accomplish here. To me, it's the word family. It's not cheesy to me, it really isn't. I think it's important that I continue that tradition and bring my knowledge. Yeah, I've been away for 20 years now, and I've learned a lot. From other coaches, other players that I've coached. So, it's not like, I know the old adage, bring an old Flyer back. Yeah, I'm proud to be an old Flyer. We were successful back then. But now we're going in a new direction, new vision, and I want to be part of it. And hopefully some of the knowledge I've had being away from the Flyers will help.
Yeah, you mentioned that narrative. It's definitely there. I think
sure.
Fans will look at this and some will say the Flyers are doing what they normally do, bringing an old Flyer back. And at times that's a negative connotation, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Why will you be different? Why will this time be different?
Yeah, like I said, I'm proud to be an old Flyer, but like I said, I've been gone. I've been gone a lot of years. I've learned a lot. I've been involved in a lot of different learning processes. Winning 2 cups with Pittsburgh, just being on the Four Nations coaching staff, coaching Sidney Crosby, Steve Stamkos, and Marty St. Louis, great players. Like in Arizona, the young players, I had Clayton Keller. These guys are high-level players that I got to teach, learn from them, and also teach them some of my knowledge. So it's been a collective, a bunch of years of learning and knowledge, and hopefully I can bring that to the guys.
Right, and I've heard Danny Briere and Keith Jones, the communication is definitely the buzzword when talking about you as a candidate and now that you're here as a head coach. This communication style that a lot of people talk about. How would you describe it when you're one-on-one with a player?
Yeah, I think there's just more than a hockey coach. Players deal with stuff every day. I've lived it, right? And you got to be there for them in any capacity, mentally and physically. The X and O's, I have to make sure that players know the X and O's, the systems. But they're also human beings. They have families. And it's important that I'm there for them in that aspect. I have to touch on each player almost every day. I don't like to go too. Sometimes as a coach, you forget about a player because you got so many. And I do a process system with assistant coaches where I make sure we get to this player. I haven't got to this guy in a couple of days. I got to get to him. Whether it's having a coffee with him, whether it's having lunch with him. Sometimes you have to have a dinner with a guy. I think that's important. That's communication. I think the players understand that you care, and there's going to be some tough moments. There's going to be some difficult conversations that you have to have with players. You can't be shy about it, but I think the players will respect you because of it.